This episode of the Beauty Industry Podcast was brought to you by Vital Plus. Hello and welcome to the Beauty Industry Podcast, your online support community for the professional beauty industry. I am your host, founding director of Beauty Industry, Tamara Reid. Here we are closing the competitive gap and speaking your language. This is a platform created and dedicated to the professional beauty industry, valuing community over competition. We serve to help connect you with inspiration from industry experts, expand your knowledge through educational pieces, and bring you the latest in product and technology innovation. This is Beauty Industry. Today, my guest is Frank Selim of Vital Plus, an industry icon championed for his vision and leadership at the helm of Vital Plus. Frank Selim took over his French beauty therapist mum, Jacqueline Gobish's legacy, a business founded in 1989, which was built on the premise that every woman deserves to feel beautiful. Frank's continued devotion to her passion of championing holistic products, improving nutrition, and focusing on in-depth education for beauty therapists has allowed him to evolve and expand Jacqueline's radical vision. Today, Vital Plus is Australia's leading distributor for exclusively holistic skincare. With over 28 years of experience in the beauty and skincare industry, Frank has helped hundreds of beauty salon, day spa, and skin clinic owners overcome their crucial challenges, such as developing their branding, their marketing, and increasing cash flow with ideas, strategies, and introducing systems and training staff to optimize business revenue and increase profits. A truly passionate speaker and one which continues to spark infection for our industry. Today you'll hear all about the incredible career that Frank has led, how his team anchor the business to our industry, and why he will always harness the power of holistic products. Here's Frank and I for Beauty Industry. Frank, welcome to the Beauty Industry Podcast.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here tomorrow.
Yes, and likewise to have you.
Great.
So, Frank, you may not be aware, we start our podcast the same way every week. And I would love to go back to the beginning of your career and find out from you, how did you enter into the professional beauty industry?
It was through my mother. She was in the beauty industry from a very young age, and she was always fascinated at how the body worked. And she was always at home. She always, of course, looked after her skin, but she had this, she studied nutrition and natural therapies. And so the angle that I took with my mother was that she always shared with me her ideas and thoughts about, what real health is. And I was always fascinated by that side of things, not so much by the beauty side, but they're very much linked. And I at the time when my mother set up Vital Plus, which I only took over 10 years ago, but I've worked with her for 30 years. Can you imagine that? But before that, I used to teach music, and I came to visit. I was set in Paris, and I came to visit her in Australia. And my mother was giving her seminars and talking to beauty therapists and talking with this passion about nutrition and health, and that's what really gives you a beautiful, healthy skin. And I love that. I really got into it, and as her business grew, she 2 years later she asked me if I wanted to join the business, and I didn't hesitate. I said yes, I'd love to do that. I wanted to get out of the Paris smog, and she lived in Newport, which is in a beautiful suburb of Sydney, right on the beach. So that too attracted me to the whole.
Oh, wow. What a special entrance. What happened to the music, Frank? Are we still a musician?
I still work. I'm a classical pianist, and I still work the piano. Actually, I work it more now than when I used to teach it, because teaching it, like after 8 hours of lesson, you sort of want to take a break from the piano. But now, when I get home, that's the first thing I do. I sort of relax and play a bit of Bach or someone who I'm into at the time.
Oh, how gorgeous. And I'm wondering then, did you ever feel daunted or out of your depth? You've moved to Australia, taken on, a big role in business with your mum. You've completely changed industries. You're a male in what was a very, very saturated female market, back then, 30 years ago. I mean, did you ever think, oh my goodness, what am I doing?
Actually, no. Isn't that strange? Because I was already very passionate about that whole aspect of health and nutrition, and you just cannot separate them one from the other as far as beauty goes. So when I started to come to work for my mother, I started in the warehouse, but then I started to go and visit clients. And clients were so receptive to me and to my passion and enthusiasm. And we'd have these long conversations about, food and what do you eat and all of that. And we talk about things like, how nutrients can penetrate through the skin, because that's some of the basis of our brands, to bring nutrients to through the skin. And we do funny things like, put our feet in. I'd say, look, I can prove it to you. If I can just get a bucket and I'll put some whiskey or whatever your favorite alcohol is, and we'll put your feet in it, and you'll see in 20 minutes you'll be drunk without drinking. I would do funny things like that, and I'd make even bread classes. I'd show how, I'd go as far as grinding wheat or different grains and making the starter, the what makes the bread rise, and I'd share that. And the therapists were really into it. They got into it. We talk about cold pressed oils and the importance of essential fatty acids. So I felt really at home, and I don't know, I just, my mother's always been a beauty therapist, so maybe it's a thing with beauty therapists. We connect easily and yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it feels very, what's the word, almost like your mother had, and yourself as well, had quite a lot of foresight, because I guess back then, we're talking 30 years ago, it was very typical of Australians particularly to see beauty as nails and makeup, and even facials weren't even a really big thing then. It was a lot of massage, a lot of waxing, but you're talking about, cultures and yeast and all of this incredible stuff 30 years ago, whereas I kind of think now our industry's only just got to that kind of phase. So are you kind of like getting out your pom-poms and you're like, yes, you're cheering for the fact that we've all caught up with you?
Absolutely, for sure. I remember when my mother was a beauty therapist before I joined Vital Plus, so we're going 40 plus years. There weren't that many beauty salons in Australia, actually. And there were maybe 5 brands of skincare. I know there was Clarence and maybe Danae, just a few professional brands, and it was really just about applying a mask and a cream. The facials were just starting to develop, but like you say, essentially nails, because we're very linked with America and what America's doing, and the big fashion of these. I don't particularly like them, but those big fake nails and all of that trend. I think it's dying now, but yeah, that was what was really considered like beauty, and waxing and nails, and my mother was always about offering waxing as a supplement, but focusing on the most amazing, incredible organ, the skin, and working on that aspect.
Yeah, and I'm interested to know, your mother wanting to work alongside the holistic products and, all of that improved nutrition and the in-depth education for beauty therapists. Since taking over the business, what have you done to kind of continue her legacy and her vision?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, we pride ourselves on being very selective with the brands that we work with. We look at brands that give result driven, but that give long-term benefits on the skin. So there are lots and lots of brands that give great results immediately, but you jeopardize the acid mantle, you jeopardize the health of the skin, the epidermis, the cornea sites are exfoliated all constantly, and it stresses the skin and it speeds the aging process, and it removes the defense mechanism, the immunity. So we're always interested and fascinated with brands that, on the contrary, they boost your microbiome, they boost the strength of your defense barriers. They, your acid mantle is healthy, and your pH levels are doing great. So that's definitely one aspect that we wanted to continue on. The other thing is that my mother was very much big on education and the support that we gave our clients through education. And beauty salons are actually, the beauty therapists of today are very savvy, and we deal with some really knowledgeable people. So we wanted to definitely give them content. But also, one weakness that they do have is that they're very good hands-on, and they know their products and they know their ingredients and they know the benefits. But when it comes to the business side, the marketing, the hiring of staff, the location of the salon, the pricing of your treatments, the how to do a good website, how to have a good menu, how to get people through the door, that's something that they just lack. They need help with. A lot of them. You've got a few very savvy business women out there who have built great businesses, and that's fantastic to see. But there are a lot of beauty salons that they start off, they do beautiful facials, they work somewhere, and they think, well, why don't I build my own business? And they don't have the actual savoir-faire to set up a real sustainable business. And 95% businesses fail, and that's where we want to try and help and rescue, give them great products, but also give them the education that will sustain the business. So I think that's the way that I've kept the legacy my mother has set up.
Yeah, I love that. And I guess, back to your point in saying that the business owner, they have been the therapist first, and in many cases they've looked at the business owner and gone, well, perhaps I can do better, or perhaps I can do something differently. So then they launch into being a business owner, but they don't take the step from therapist to business owner by upskilling in between, and I think that's a fault of our industry at large. There's no kind of bridging program, and if anyone's listening and out there, create it, because we need it. But there's nothing to bridge a therapist to be a business owner. So they're wearing all of these hats. But I love that you guys are coming on in and saying, well, you don't have to be a specialist at that because you're great at doing the treatment. So let's just continue doing the treatments, but we're here to help you so that you can take one of those hats off and have less on your plate.
I totally agree. If there was something that was created to help the beauty salons, the therapist to become a salon owner, it's two different beasts altogether. And we do a lot of things. But, I clients that you need to build a new website. I told them, I have had a look. I'll go through the website. I'll have a look, and I'll say, you need to do this and that, and we go through a whole list. And I said, you could do it yourself, but you'll need so many hours of learning how to build them. And even though websites are becoming easier and easier to build, just hire someone to do it really well. To have a calendar that automatically people can just book in, and automatically an email is sent to them, and all of these things that can be done and can make your life so much easier. You just pay them once, and then you've got you get a graphic design you cannot, like graphic designs, a really good branding. It's not something you're taught to do. So get someone to do it really well. And then you've got that, you keep it, for at least 10 years before you need to review. And that makes such a huge difference. So I tell a lot of don't try to become a social media professional. Get some help in these areas. Get them done well, and you'll have more time to focus on what you do well, which is giving great treatments, giving great service to your clients, aftercare service, all of that. Do that really well, and let the others help you brand yourself, do the social media, do the advertising, and you'll reap the benefits really 10 times. It'll make a huge difference.
Totally agree with you there. And speaking of brands, you guys at Vital Plus, I think a lot of people don't know this, but you're actually a distributor. And so you have quite a few different brands under your product house, as I like to call it. So I'm sure you'll say this much better than I, but Genetique and Jumo. Is there a particular method or, something that you use to qualify whether you're going to distribute a brand or not? Because as I believe, distributors get asked frequently, almost weekly or monthly, can you stock our brand? Can you stock our brand? So when these products come knocking on your door, how do you say yes or no to a particular brand?
It's very simple. We get like this already Monday. I've had one beauty supplier who's asked us to. Basically, every week we get one or two different manufacturers from all over the world who want us to distribute their brands, and we'll have a look. I mean, at the moment, we're distributing 4 different brands. The Genetique is a French product that was created for skin burn treatments initially. So that's the product that my mother worked with. And then there's Jumo, which was created specifically to enhance the skin microbiome. Nemu was created by some doctors who wanted to get better results before and after surgery, so they originated with really profound foundations, and we tested them first, and we got a lot of people to talk to us about the product to get their feedback. We're actually, and we've got Sequential, which is not a skincare product. Sequential is a brand that allows people to test their skin microbiome and the DNA, what they're prone to have. Well, if they're prone to have sensitivity and so forth. It's a fascinating way to actually get a good history of your skin and what are the things that you need to think about. So we're actually looking at the moment and testing another product, a Japanese brand, and well, we talk with them, we listen to the manufacturer, what drives them, what do they want from their products, and we test them. We get the girls to test them out, and all of them have different types of skin, and so we all, you know, some are more mature, some are younger, some are more sensitive, and we all test them out, and we discuss it, and if they've got also some great packaging, great support, then we consider it. But yeah, it's there's a lot to go through. We're not, you know, we've got so much to do already with the brands that we have, so we're not like desperately looking. We want definitely to align ourselves with brands that will support the skin in the long term and empower the skin's health and immune system, and balance its its whole radiance, and yeah, it's often linked with, you know, you don't get a healthy skin with just applying skincare. Anyway, we always recommend a healthy lifestyle. Smoking, alcohol, stress, all these things, you know, it doesn't matter what skincare you put on, it's not going to help. So, you know, we share with our beauty therapists that enthusiasm, that love to because the clients look up to them, and they're the ones who can influence their clients to seek greater results from the skin that they, you know, the skincare that they're using, and it's a holistic approach that we focus on when we select a product.
After the break, Frank shares with us learnings and lessons from his career. But first, a word from today's beauty partner, which is of course none other than Vital Plus. It is clear that long-term skin health is not only the Vital Plus passion, but also their obsession, rooted in the DNA from the very beginning when Jacqueline Gorbischer established Vital Plus. The team believe that education creates better businesses, so Vital Plus offers extensive and flexible training options both in salon and online to help salons upskill and reach their full potential. Whether you're a startup or an established salon inspired to take your business to the next level as a big-hearted business, Vital Plus are there with a real person on the line, ready to listen and happy to help. With no minimum opening order and no minimum monthly spending, Vital Plus makes it easy to work with Australia's best holistic skincare brands. Vital Plus also offers great profit margins, huge quarterly salon bonuses and staff incentive programs. In addition, if you want to start making your own videos, as you may have heard, you can schedule your own video session to create professional videos in state-of-the-art equipment at the Vital Plus headquarters in Mossman in New South Wales. To celebrate their 30th business anniversary, Vital Plus is offering 30% off your opening order. And yes, you heard that correctly. That's a massive 30% off your opening order, which does not come around too often. So head over to vitalplus.com.au and use the code ANNIVERSARY to check out to redeem this amazing offer on your cart. Thank you so much to Frank and the team at Vital Plus for making this episode of the Beauty Industry Podcast possible. And now, back to the conversation.
Sure, that holistic approach as well, you know, kind of feeds into the businesses that you guys stock your products into. And I've heard you and Elena, your wife, speak very passionately about helping build better beauty businesses. Yes. What does this look like in terms of the kind of support that you provide? Because I think sometimes beauty business owners and therapists just go, oh, well, I just get my product from them and I can't get anything else. But I know you guys put on lots of different education sessions, particularly now that we're virtual. You know, I'm seeing lots of Zooms come through. So what does that look like from your end?
It's a very important aspect to be able to give the therapist the feeling that they're not alone, because for a lot of salons, they're a one-woman show. You know, they might have a staff, but they often, you know, have someone who will do something different to them, who will do laser or injections, and so they're still kind of alone. And we want to make them feel that they're not alone, that we're much stronger together. And so we have a whole array. Every month we do what we call the Future Beauty Talk, and we invite special guest speakers. I believe that you're one of them. Who's going to be coming to one of our Future Beauty Talks. I'm not sure if it's next month or the month after. We have people like Chiza Weska, Fiona Tuck. If you're in the industry, you know these people. We have Gay Waddle, all these experts who are passionate like we are about what they're doing. And we ask them to share some of their knowledge. We record these sessions. We have a YouTube channel so that we understand that, people can't always come to these meetings. So we record everything. We put them in our channel for people who are our clients. They have they can log into a website where they have access to all the training videos that we make. I'm a big video fan. I've got all these cameras and lights and studios, and even before COVID, what we were offering our clients is a studio setup so that the clients can come and create their own video. If they don't have their own cameras and lights and all of these things, they can come to the office and we'll help them create a video for their own business. So there's so many aspects that are associated to healthy skin. It's not just about learning about the products. That's probably the easiest thing, to learn about the ingredients and the creams that you're using. That's the easiest thing. And even if you don't remember what's in the product, I tell the therapist, that's not what it's important. Often products are sold just because, a friend tells them about them, and when the friend tells them, it's, oh my God, I've used this cream, I love it, and she doesn't go, it has hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. She doesn't say any of that. She just shares her passion for the products. But what they so knowing the product is important. I'm not saying not to know, but what they will find that's more interesting is ways to present a product, when to talk about the product. There's so many things to discuss in the business realm, and we were just saying before we started talking about the whole COVID thing, and I'm worried that for beauty therapists, they're going to get hammered with their clients talking about COVID and all this. And my recommendation is to have some lines ready in their heads, like saying things like, look, this is your time. Let's relax. Let's look at your skin. Let's focus on that, rather than focus on, because it's the beauty therapists, they're going to be drained from this COVID pandemic, that the clients are going to thrust onto them. And I want them to protect themselves from that too, so we want to support them in all these areas. We want to be aware of what's going on in a salon and make sure that our educators can give them, the heads up, the be ready for this, look out for that, don't get sucked into this, and also what are the trends, what's happening in the future, what's going to be beauty therapy in 5 years from now? Are you ready for this? Are you keep them motivated, keep their passions going, and they can get into this they can get into this comfort zone. Comfort is not what we want. We want to make them uncomfortable again. Outside of their comfort zone, and reaching out for higher standards and for the stars.
Absolutely. You're singing all of my praises here. I love it. I love when, people do, especially, open up those conversations with their BDMs and lean on the people that are there to support them. So many times when I was a BDM in my past career, I'd go there and people would say, oh, let's just have a coffee, or let's do product training again. And as you say, it's so much more than product training. It's the progressive and, inclusive conversations that you're having, or sometimes it's to know, let's not have the conversation today and let's just let the client relax. So I think there's a lot of that. And, for yourself, being in a 30-year-old company, you and your team also have to constantly stay up to date. And, as you mentioned there, talking about the trends and understanding what's coming up so that you guys don't get left behind. I'm curious to know, how do you go about strategizing or reinvigorating your brand so that it does stay relevant? Sometimes we might look at a 30-year-old company and go, oh, what do they know about 2021 or 2022? So how do you kind of stay fresh and up to date with all of that?
Well, the saying that there's always room to grow. What's the saying? That the biggest room for is the room for growth. And I'm a really strong believer in that. I guess that it's a personality thing. It's a leadership thing. I'm always looking for improvement, discovery. I cannot sit still. You can probably see it in my as a leader, I think it's really important to bring in some fresh ideas and some inspirational thoughts and challenge the staff. I had a break recently, like 3 or 4 months ago, and I discovered Wim Hof, who's also known as the Iceman. And Wim Hof is this guy who talks about breathing. You breathe in deeply and you breathe out, and you do that about 30 times in a row, and then you hold your breath for as long as you can, and then you do that again, and you repeat that. And it's about alkalizing your blood. So you take out all the acidity and the toxicity out of your blood. You bring in the oxygen, and he recommends to do the ice bath or the cold showers. And so with the team, I was telling them, oh, I love this guy. This is fantastic discovery. You've got to try. So we all started doing the breathing, and at 2:30, this was back when we could all be here at the office, we'd stop. And we'd all start lying on the floor, doing this heavy breathing in and out, and holding our breath. And we were always wondering, oh my God, if someone, knocks at the door, they'll think we're real weirdos. But basically, that's the thing, as a leader, I want my staff to come in thinking, oh, what's Frank got up his pocket, and you've got to keep it fresh. You got to look. I mean, I don't mean by you got to change things all the time. If you're doing something really well, that's great. Keep it up. But our quest to find if there's new technologies. This is what's going to be coming out with Sequential, the technology that allows you to really test your skin and evaluate what your skin microbiome and DNA is like. That's fantastic. It's just also, I was going to say one thing that I always through my life, I've always had a mentor. I've always had 1 or 2 mentor myself that I either listen to or read or pay. I've spent I've probably spent in my 30 years with Vital Plus, maybe, I don't know, $300,000 in education and mentorship and so forth, because you cannot get everything yourself. You got to that also is invigorating, and I recommend that every salon owner should have a mentor, should look for someone that they can. And by the way, I offer mentorship programs to our clients. We have these programs where I work with them, and we talk and we look at the business, and I don't talk about the products really, because that I've got the educators to do that. But I dig into their business and to their lifestyle as well, because for a lot of beauty, one of the things that when I talk to beauty salon owners, beauty therapists, I go, why did you build a beauty salon? And they say, well, they love it, and they want to help clients and all that. But they also say, I want to have more time for myself. They build a business to have more time for themselves. And I go, how's that going? And they say, well,
non-existent.
3 times harder. I said, well, okay, so that's something that we can still achieve, but we need to do things very differently, and we have to work on that. And that's understanding, how you organize, how you are a leader. For a lot of beauty salons, they can't let go. They can't entrust the work to another therapist. And organization skills need to be sharpened. So there's lots of things that can be done, but having a mentor is always helpful. Reading a lot, that always brings new ideas, and talking to a lot of people helps too.
Yeah, very, very cool. And so tell me then, we mentioned Elena before, who is your beautiful wife. How do you balance your relationship with each other at home versus, the one that you've got at work? Because I can imagine if I had to go to work with my husband every day, I safely would say that he probably wouldn't be my husband for very much longer. And that's not because I don't love him, but I just could not work with him all the day and then go home all the night. So how do you balance that and kind of switch between, okay, this is our relationship at home, and then this is our relationship at work?
God, look, maybe I'm just extremely lucky. My wife is the most incredible, beautiful person, and that's why she's my wife. I feel like I feel like if there's any genius in me, it's to have found her and picked her. But I don't find any difference between home and work. The way I am right now with you and with anyone who works with me is the way I am at home. Like, I'm not a different personality. I don't suddenly become serious and or hello tomorrow. I just don't become different. So what you see at the moment is what you get, and my wife is the same at home, at work. What we do have that we've sort of clearly talked about is that we sort of said, okay, I'm the CEO, I'm the managing director. If we don't agree on something, which is, I can't remember the last time we did, but if we didn't, let's just say, then ultimately I'll take the final decision, and that's all. But she respects me as a human being, and I respect her. So she knows that we both at the end want what's best for her. It's a bit like being a parent. A father and a mother might not agree on the same thing, but ultimately you both want what's best for your child. We both want what's best for the business. So she knows that, you know, and if I make a mistake, then she can go, I told you so. Look, there's if I can, there's an extract from one of my favorite poets. If I can share that with you, it'll speak to how we manage it at work. It's from, you may have heard of Khalil Gibran. He wrote the book, The Prophet. It's a beautiful book. If you haven't read it, it's only a little book, but it's heavy with beauty and profoundness. And this is an extract. So the prophet is this prophet who comes to a village, and he's asked by all the village about different aspects, different topics. And one person says, talk to us about marriage. And so the prophet, he talks, and I'm just getting an extract, and he says, love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each other, one of you, be alone. Even as the strings of the lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together, for the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. I just love that poem. It's exactly how I feel about a beautiful, profound relationship between a husband and wife. It's this unity, those pillars that hold the temple, but that doesn't smother. And at the office, it's the same thing. We both, work, but not in each other's shadow. And we both bring the love and enthusiasm, and it works very well. And we go home and we walk home together, and we say, oh, how was your day? Even though we're in the same office. How did you go? What were your challenges? And we talk about it like we were talking about our own child, with the care and the nurturing and the respect. Respect is a big one.
Oh, Frankie, big smoochie. How gorgeous was that? You mentioned their challenges, and, in business, many of us face challenges. And of course, COVID is a big one, but without mentioning the C word, what comes up for you when we speak about career challenges? I'm sure you've probably faced many being in business for, such a long time.
Yeah. Oh, look, and what I love about business is a great teacher. It's a great and big fat mirror it reflects where you're at, and that's why, I kind of say to our therapists, it's all about you. It's the energy you bring in. If you're not healthy, what can you expect? What sort of energy can you think you're going to bring into the energy? What sort of passion and enthusiasm, that's all in the gut. That's all got to come out. That's one thing, that business is always teaching. It's like the thermometer. It takes my temperature of how I'm going, how well I'm doing, with myself, with my self-belief, with my confidence, with my innovations. There's a saying that I love regarding, I was thinking of COVID. One of my person that I admire is Charles Darwin. And he was quoted for saying, it's not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. And And I love that quote because it's about adaptability. It's about, being able to respond to what's happening, and adapt. And a business, things are often always changing. Staff go, staff leave you. You've got to adapt to that. That person that was great, and now you've got a new person that you've got to train. COVID happens. You've got to adapt to that. And if you don't have the energy and the flexibility of the mind to think and search and even the conviction to reach out to others, reach out and ask people for help. All of these things, they're all helpful to adaptability. And yeah, it's if I can give you one other little quote, and this one I have it always on my thing here, and what it says is, make today so awesome, yesterday gets jealous. Make today so awesome, yesterday gets jealous. And it's all about that energy and that vitality. And I think that businesses are all about energy and vitality. It's all about you, I don't think that my mother called Vital Plus by accident. It was all about that vitalness.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that so much. Yeah. What's been the biggest lesson that you've taken away from being a business owner? I can hear, how passionate you are, and I can really hear how infectious your energy is. And, I can imagine that you've been like this since day dot of being a business owner. So has there been any kind of key takeaways that you'd like to share?
Well, it's that what we just talked about, that ability to adapt. I think that, everybody says you've got to love what you're doing. And sometimes it's not easy, to be honest. It's not always easy to love what you're doing. So I always start my day right. That's, for me, it's so important. For the trajectory of how my day is going to go. So I think about the things that I want to achieve, the long-term goals, the short-term goals, the goals that I want to do today, the people I want to reach out to today, the things, I write this every day, every single day, who I want to reach out to, who I want to give a special message to. So I really, really think about what personality I want to have today. Sometimes I want to be firm. Sometimes I want to be more relaxed. Sometimes I want to be observant, quiet. Sometimes I want to be thoughtful. There are different type styles of personalities that I want to have. And if you're in a business where you have staff, you're only as good as your staff. So don't neglect your staff. Take time with them to spend training them about what you want to achieve, the goals that you want. Don't be afraid to speak up and express what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. So it's not like I give them space. It's that I give them space to be creative and come up with. I encourage their own thoughts, but I also am there with them all the time, talking with them, seeing how they're going. Is there anything I can do to help them? So the staff is really, really crucial in the success of your business. And if you take care of them and you respect them and you give them time, they return it tenfold. They will stay longer. They will be happier. Happier staff gets better results. They'll be more creative. They'll be more enthusiastic. So yeah, staff's really a big one.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nurturing the staff. Sometimes business owners say, oh, but it costs so much money to train them and personal development and but the return is, just tenfold. And I always hear your staff and your team say, how beautiful you and Elena are as leaders. And, you can really see that and feel that from the outside of the business. I'm curious that if somebody were to talk about Vital Plus, when you guys weren't in the room, about your staff or about the stockers that you have or about the products or anything like that, the type of business that you run, what do you hope that they say? What's that lasting legacy that you want people to know or feel about Vital Plus?
Yeah, I love that question, actually. It's a very interesting question because it's all about your brand. And they say that your brand is what people say when you've left the room. And that's that's why, when you just said my staff, they say great things about me as a leader, because I don't know, they don't say, oh, Frank, you're such a great leader. We just get on and we just laugh and have a good time. But so it's good to hear that that's what they say. I assume that's true. I hope so anyway.
It is true, don't you worry.
But look, I think that, and we get lots of testimonials, but with testimonials, everybody always say good things. That's why, when I always look up something and testimonials, it's good to see a good testimonial, but it's only so much. It only holds so much value. But look, if people would say, if the beauty salons would say things like that we're supportive, that we're really good with education, that we're inspiring, we're big-hearted, we're nurturing and friendly, and I sort of say, I made to my staff very clear that we want to make, when the clients call us, we want to treat them like if they were one of our kids and they had a problem, and we want to be kind of motherly in a way. Mm-hmm. And so we don't want to have, I don't care how big we become, I will never have a machine saying, if you want to place an order, press 1. If you want to talk about your account, press 2. I just don't want that. I want them to go hear a human voice, and the human voice recognize them even before they say even their name, and they go, oh, hi Marie, it's you, how are you? If they say things like that we're holistic, and that we're natural, that we're long-term skin health is one of my favorite motto, long-term skin health, and we're very active, or our products are very result-driven. That would be really, I'd be happy with those words. Any of those words would be fantastic.
Amazing.
That's what we do. I truly believe we do that, but it's got to come from other people.
Absolutely. Well, I've heard all of those words speak about yourself and Elena as leaders, and your beautiful team as well, and all of the support that you guys give to our industry. So thank you so much for coming and having a chat with me today. I really appreciate it. And, I've had such a fun time learning about yourself, and I do really feel like you're carrying on your mother's legacy. So I'm sure she'd be very proud.
Thank you, Tamara. I really enjoyed this interview. I hope that I haven't sort of gone on and on. It's hard to shut me up, but it's been such an enjoyable interview. Great question. You're an amazing interviewer. So thank you very much.
Well, isn't Frank just magic? You can literally hear his passion for what he does for our industry just bursting through the mic. And if you didn't already know, Beauté Industrie actually got its name from the French, with a little French flavour on the words beauty industry, because I just adore how much the French immerse themselves in the culture of beauty as a lifestyle rather than a one-off luxury treatment. You can, of course, stay connected with everything we do at Beauté by searching for us on the gram at Beauté Industry, or of course by heading to our website, beautéindustry.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and as always, your time. We really appreciate it. Until next time, stay connected.